Dude, listen, I'm going to BlizzCon soon. Someone's getting fired over this. Wait a minute, what time is it? Is it Christmas? What's going on? Oh my god, why is this unit in the fucking game at all? Like, why don't we just remove it? Welcome everyone. This is fresh from the grill, okay? Fresh. Newest StarCraft II balance update 2K19 October the 3rd. Boys, are you ready? This is a huge patch, by the way. I scrolled through earlier. There's so many changes. I haven't seen any of them, so we're gonna discuss them right now together, okay? Hey everyone, each year we take a step. Yeah, this is after BlizzCon patch, okay? This is not for BlizzCon, this is after BlizzCon. And usually they do a lot of big changes after BlizzCon. Let's see. I hope, I don't know yet what it is, but I hope that they have some changes that are actually changing units and not just +1 damage, -1 armor kind of thing. But to add spells, add abilities, I'm hoping for something like that. Each year, we take a step back to evaluate what improvements we could make to the game for a post-BlizzCon design patch. Ooh, design, that's what I like, that's a good word. And we come closer and closer to stability with each passing year. For 2K19, we'll be focusing more on tweaks and refinements to existing units. Some themes in this year's patch include introducing new upgrades. You're getting me excited, stop it. Designed to gate the full power of certain units and improve late game usage for others. Strategically reducing ranges of key units and abilities to encourage greater interaction late game. Is that Broodlords? I hope it's Broodlords. Before we start, please bear in mind that this update contains many experimental changes we'd like to try and test, and we'll do our best at highlighting which ones we're especially wary of. Oh my god, okay, please let this be a good patch and not just... Come on, please, Blizzard, please. Hellion Hellbat. Infernal Pre-Igniter research costs decreased from 150 to 100. I remember, guys, the story I told you about Slayer's Terrans ruining Blue Flame and getting it nerfed? There it is. In the summer of 2011, the legendary Slayer's Terrans unleashed a revolutionary Blue Flame Hellion build upon hapless Zerg players around the world, and the balance team had no choice but to act, cutting the bonus provided, yada yada yada. Okay, we know this, okay? We know this. I've said this story. So, okay, so that's it. Now, honestly, there's no real Blue Flame Hellion timings. Blue Flame is actually something that's kind of being ignored, and you get it once you have enough money. You don't really get it in the early game anymore. There's no build that does that. Back in the day, you used to have builds that you fast expand and you get Blue Flame, and you know, you play off of that. These days, you get Blue Flame, it's 150, 150, and what it does in the current meta is not enough to justify its cost, which is a lot. It's 150, 150, guys. It's a lot, okay? I think this would be great for mech. Is this gonna break the game? Hell no. Is this gonna create a new timing for Hellbats and Hellions? Not really, with Blue Flame, but it will make it so that people get this upgrade earlier instead of later. And maybe it's gonna be good for team games, but that's about it. So it's a good buff for mech, because mech's been, you know. Thor. High impact load damage decreased from 40 plus 15 versus massive to 25. Oh, okay, I was worried there. To 25 straight up damage plus standard versus massive. High impact payload weapon cooldown decreased from 1.7 to 0.9. So basically they're halving the attack speed, or doubling the attack speed. I don't know which way you want to look at it. So instead of Thor shooting really slow and derpy, they're making it faster. I actually really like this change. Now, I don't know, and I'm not gonna try to do math on stream, but I'm guessing that these number values and these come to the same DPS, which is damage per second. I'm guessing that Blizzard did that. So basically, before it was dealing more damage, attacking slower, now it deals less damage, attacks faster. This is great for Thors. Even if DPS is exactly the same, this is great, because Thors are very derpy units. They're very herpa-derpy units, okay? They're very slow, that, you know, by the time they turn around, I mean, Infestors already took them and you lost the game. So I think this is a great change, and I think this will definitely help, again, mech and Thors quite a bit. So this is a great change. that I think will actually have some real impact on the game. A common complaint we've heard regarding the Thor is its ability to be controlled in late game fights. Well, you can't control it. That's the problem. Because the Thor's anti-ground and anti-air attacks have such drastically different cooldowns, it can often feel unresponsive in its engagements. That's also true. Thus, we'd like to try an experimental change that brings the high impact payload's cooldown to the same as that of okay, Thor's hammer, blah blah blah. Okay, of course there are trade-offs to this change. While the Thor has lower burst damage, it will tend to overkill its targets less frequently, and that's also a big thing, because we viewed the lower burst damage to be slightly more impactful than the lower overkill potential, which will also be slightly raising the DPS. Okay, so it is an increase in DPS. Honestly, I think Thor anti-air in theory is great. It just doesn't work in practice. And honestly, I don't think it's because of the range. It's because of how slow and derpy the Thor is, and this will help with that. You know what I would actually love to see? If they reduce the Thor size by about like 15%, like actual size of the unit. Because now it's going to be more mobile, and I think it would make more sense for it to be a bit smaller. Viking. Health increase from 135 to 150. Are Vikings the new bunkers? Would like for the Viking to be stronger counter to the units it's intended to fight. It's not. I'll tell you why now. After this change, Vikings will generally take natural hits to kill from Corruptor, Stalkers, and Tempests. Perhaps more importantly, to be more resilient against area effects such as fungal or represented bomb Star. It won't. Some concerns we have for this change include the strength of the individual Viking in the early game, the potency of timing pushes against Colossus in TvP, and his general power level in TvT. We'll also be careful to evaluate how impactful this change will be considering other changes proposed, especially those involving the Infestor and Tempest. Now, this is not going to do anything, and I'll tell you why. These kinds of changes are the changes I don't want to see in the game. This will not change anything. If you guys remember, when they changed Vikings and gave it 10 more health, do you guys remember what I said? I said the change is useless and it will not do anything, and Viking will still be garbage. And here we are a year later and Viking is still garbage. No one's making them. They're terrible. Okay? Why are they terrible? They're terrible not because of the Viking itself. They're terrible because of these spellcasters. They are the problem. Vikings are not the problem. Vikings, you can give it 200 health, but it will still suffer from the same issues, aka they're stacking extremely easily, they're very susceptible to getting fungal, and once they do, you can't do shit, parasitic bombs and stuff like that. Obviously, if they gave it 200 health, that'd be, you know, that would make a difference, but this is another fix that's like, is it going to help? Sure. Does it solve the problems? No. Am I going to suddenly rely on Vikings to defeat Brutal Corruptor? No, you're not. And if you guys remember what I talked about Stim upgrade. Stim upgrade, you know, it went through the game, into the game, the change to make the Stim faster. And I said, this will not create any new openings. The only thing it will do is it will empower those already existing in the game, which is 2-base TvP all-ins, any kinds of like 2-1-1. So it just empowers existing builds, and this is exactly what this change is going to do. It's going to make the 2-base, 3-base, Viking SCV pool against Protoss. It will be even more annoying in TvT, which is already in a pretty obnoxious state in my opinion. And this will do absolutely nothing for TvZ and nothing for... honestly, in TvP, they're not that bad because they're great against Tempest, but against Zerg, I just don't see myself. Why would I make a Viking? Look at it this way. Why would I waste 2 supply on a Viking when I can make a Ghost? Like, is anyone trying to argue that Vikings are better than Ghosts? They're not. They're just not. They deal with the same units, except Ghost has even more implications of what he can do in the game. So, I'm not a fan of this change. Honestly, I'm not a fan of this change. Medevac. Move to rapid re-ignition system upgrade from Starport Tech to the Fusion Core. In addition to reducing Medevac Ignite Afterburner's cooldown by 5 seconds, the upgrade will also increase the Medevac's base movement speed from 3.5 to 4.13. However, this upgrade will not affect the Medevac's movement speed during the Ignite Afterburner's effect. Okay, so they're giving it passive movement speed higher, but when you activate the thing, it will come down to the same speed that it has right now when you do the afterburner, I think, if I understand this correctly. Previous medevac upgrades have seen little use as they were viewed as unimpactful and an awkward position of the Terran tech tree. We'd like to start off by introducing this new, more visibly impactful upgrade on the Fusion Core, building... okay. This is useless. I'm just gonna say it straight up. This is useless. Absolutely useless. This will not make anyone make this. You're gonna get it because you ran out of things to get, just like now. It's not gonna do anything. And I'll tell you why. Past couple of streams, I've been talking about the economy in StarCraft II, and this is something I've been talking for the past year or two. The economy in StarCraft II is what makes a lot of these units useless. I was initially, again, for 12 worker start in Legacy of the Void. I'm not gonna get too into it, but basically having this fast economy, yes, you skip the boring early game, but you also skip on a lot of impactful units throughout the game. The meta in StarCraft II is rushing high-tech units, especially Zerg. There's not a lot of mid-game going on anymore. And this upgrade, if it was in the game in Heart of the Swarm, this is an upgrade that would be used, because in Heart of the Swarm you had a period of 10 to 25 minutes where you constantly drop. You drop Protoss, you drop Zerg, you drop in TVT. In Legacy of the Void that doesn't happen. You drop twice and then we're into the late game and we're fighting GG Lords and Infestors. So this will not do anything. Is it a cool thing? Are people gonna get it when you're maxed and you're floating money? Sure. Is anyone gonna get this? Otherwise, no. This is useless. Blizzard, if you want to make an upgrade for medevac, make an upgrade so that it heals 2 units at the same time instead of 1 unit at the same time, and just remove this Ignite Afterburner crap. That way you can buff bio in the late game a bit by buffing it indirectly and not directly giving bio damage. That's what I would do. And you can still put the upgrade in Fusion Core and you can make it 200 so people can't rush it. That's what I would personally go for, because I think it just doesn't do anything. Okay. Liberator. Advanced Ballistics upgrade moved from Starport Tech Lab to the Fusion Core. Likewise, the transition to ranged Liberators can also be awkward, and in more than one matchup... Oh wait, actually, no, I'm misreading this. This is good. The transition to can be awkward, and in more than one matchup lead to a period of inactivity on the Terran's part. That's right. And the reason for that is you need to build a second starport, and you're investing money into the second starport, and then you're not really producing medevacs or bio, and then you have to slow down. That's how it works. Every time you're maxed, you're constantly using your production. Whenever you need to add new production, you're slowing down your unit production. That's how that works for Terran. We'd like to try to smooth this transition by transplanting the upgrade. Okay. To Fusion Core, and we feel confident we can safely do so with the following change. Advanced Ballistics now increase the range of Liberators Defenders mode by 3, down from 4. Now the question is, do Liberators really need a nerf? We'd like to reduce the range of a few key units and abilities. Okay, they did say they want to reduce the range of a couple of units, so maybe they're doing the same thing for Protoss and Zerg. We'll see. Now, the range thing, I'm not sure, but I really like the Fusion Core thing, because what this does is that Terrans don't need to make a second starport with Tech Lab. You can still produce reactor liberators out of the starport, and then you get the Fusion Core and you upgrade the thing there. Because right now you still have to make Fusion Core, but then you also need a Tech Lab. So this is like a quality of life, how I like to call them, a buff. So I'm very up for that. Now this, we're gonna have to see all the other changes they're making. A Raven. Do you remember who said that this should be a thing? Do you remember? Who was the guy that said Interference Matrix is bullshit for TVT and it should be 75 energy? Dude, I preached for this. This is a great thing for TVT. This will not do much in other 2 matchups. For TVT, this is amazing change. This is great change. I can't emphasize how great this is. Because right now, 2 Ravens, listen to me, 2 Ravens can disable 8 units. That is insane. Do you know how many 8 siege things? You can disable 8 siege things. That's insane. This is a great change. And not only because I suggested it like months ago, this is a great change. 10 out of 10. Beautiful. This will not change anything in TVZ. And in TVP, I mean, yeah, it's a nerf, but, you know, whatever. Now, Interference Matrix duration increased from 8 to 11. This is what I was always talking about, Blizzard. This is a good job of nerfing and buffing something. I always, every time I do these patch reviews, I always say, when you nerf something, you have to compensate in some other way, otherwise that unit is useless. Or, if you nerf the ability, you have to compensate in another way for the ability to be relevant. And this is exactly how you do it. This is the perfect example. So they nerfed it for TVT, or they made it better for TVT, I'm gonna say that. And they nerfed it for TVP, but for TVP, the duration is actually better. Because yes, you can only disable 2 Immortals or 2 Colossus, but it lasts 3 seconds longer. And this is a great way to balance something out. This probably is the best change that I've seen in long time. Not because of the specific numbers, but because of the way they went about it. This is an extremely good way of balancing the game. And this is something that I was always trying to preach. This is how you do it. Beautiful. We believe the Raven is slightly too powerful in early game TVT, leading to a low level of diversity in this matchup openers. Exactly what I said. I always said that. TVT early game is terrible. It ruined the matchup. I hate TVT. It used to be my favorite matchup. Right now it's terrible. It is completely crapped on by just Vikings and Ravens. It ruins the matchup completely. We'd like to make some adjustments to divert its power from disabling siege things, and as early game TVT engagements are characterized by quick exchanges of tank volleys. We believe an energy cost increase in favor of increased duration would constitute a bigger change in TVT than the other matchups. Exactly. Honestly, this is like copy-paste what I said, okay? Listen, I don't take credit often, but when there's credit to be taken, I'm gonna grab it straight away. Just saying. Raven, movement speed increased from 385 to 413. Now, obviously this is a buff, right? Your thing moves faster. I don't know specifically how this plays in the game itself. I don't know how this interacts with Vikings. I don't know how this interacts with Medivacs, Phoenix, Corruptors. I don't know because I don't have numbers. The 413, these numbers are chosen specifically for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but they're probably to be able to outrun a certain unit or keep up with a certain unit. That's why you make these kinds of specific numbers. They don't just throw a random number like, oh, let's make it a 426, you know. We'd also like to place more of Raven's power into the unit's body. When the Raven was potentially lethal with previous iterations of a Hunter-Seeker missile, F in the chat for Hunter-Seeker missile, I still miss you, an anti-armor missile, the slower movement speed was a necessary counterbalance. Sure. Now that the Raven occupies more of a support role, we believe it's no longer necessary to exercise such restraint, and a higher movement speed could allow it to be more useful at harassment and creep clearing. Okay, that's true. Giving the Raven more movement speed is not going to be like, oh my god, did you see how fast those are now? It's broken. No one's going to say that. They're just going to be more usable. And I like this part. This is the part that I like the most, because that means that Blizzard wants to make a Raven a unit that you can open with against Zerg and Protoss, even though they're not saying it here, that you can open against Zerg and use auto turrets to harass. And that's good, because when that happened, that was beautiful. Because you wouldn't just be going like, oh, Banshee or nothing. You had a Raven option, you have a Medevac option, so I like that. Our goals with this set of changes is to decrease the Raven's power early game while either maintaining or increasing their power in other matchups. Probably the best change they have done in a very long time. Over a year, maybe even more. Very good change. Battlecruiser. Tactical jump now stuns and puts the Battlecruiser into a 1 second vulnerability phase before it teleports. While we enjoy the increased Battlecruiser usage over the last year, we think it's a bit too easy for them to escape unfavorable situations, so we'd like to make this change to encourage Battlecruiser's players to think twice before committing their fleet into risky predicaments. Oh, this is before it goes. I thought it's after. After this change, Interference Matrix, Fungal Growth, and Abduct will be able to cancel Tactical Jump and put it on cooldown during Battlecruiser vulnerability state. Wait, and they increased the cooldown on it as well? Alternative potential change would like to try simply to increase the this is, okay, no, this is alternate, okay, so they're not together, this is one or the other, okay, one or the other. No, this is like, I mean, I don't know. And also this, I mean, let's read the rest. Increase the tactical jump cooldown, which would temper its ability to constantly harass and perform hit and run tactics on enemies, especially in the late game. When considering options to tweak the Battlecruiser, we're interested in some combination of the above two changes, but perhaps not both. Oh my god, there's a mule change, don't look. Yamato Cannon will no longer cancel itself if a target enters a transport or becomes cloak/burrowed. Instead, the Yamato Cannon will miss. Am I missing something? Why is Battlecruiser getting nerfed? I know I haven't been following like pro scene extremely closely, but has Battlecruiser been a problem? I thought they finally started getting used, like actively, and they're still trashing the late game because of infestors. Like infestors just take them. I mean, again, guys, like I play all three races, so I'm trying to talk from like all 3 points regarding these changes, but I'm not aware that Battlecruiser is an issue. You literally just neural them. Is it perhaps too strong in the late game with the run buys? I mean, maybe. But if that's the case and if that's the issue, do this, right? Because you increase the cooldown so Terrans can't do it as often. So there's a cooldown period while the Battlecruisers are vulnerable because they can TP. This, it just seems unnecessary. Like this just seems like, oh, let's find a way to nerf it. And this, no one's gonna make Battlecruisers. This is insane. Maybe you'll make 3 to 5, but you're not gonna see an army of Battlecruisers. Like you can't micro them. They just get fungled and that's it. Or abducted. See, if it was the other way around, if like you enter this stage where you're stunned for 1 second and then the fungal doesn't prevent you from teleporting, like even if it clicks on you or something like that, then maybe, but it's like nerf and then another nerf. And Battlecruisers are so expensive. Like you don't, you know, like if this is the change, why would I ever send my Battlecruisers across the map? The risk is too great to send the Battlecruisers because there's a very good chance you're not going to run away because you're just going to be killed or stunned. And I think removing, this is like the removing the fun part of the unit. The fun part is microing the blinks, right? It's not something like extremely like, whoa, but you know, every time someone is microing the Battlecruiser and teleporting them, it's like, it's cool. I disagree with the fact that the Battlecruisers don't have a vulnerability stage. They do. When they teleport back, they're extremely vulnerable because Corruptors can fly across the map and crap on them. And there's nothing that Terran can do because Battlecruisers trade very poorly against Corruptors. I don't know. Again, I don't know about this change because I'm not aware that Battlecruisers are OP. The only thing I can think of is the Zergs were whining that it's too strong in CVT. But I mean, how would they know they're too strong? They're winning every tournament. Anyway, moving on. Mule. Duration decreased from 64 to 63. After this change, mules will still mine the exact same number of minerals. However, they will no longer expire. Okay, this is like a nice little buff. Some of you guys may know, some of you may not know. The mule on its last trip, it picks up the minerals and then it insta-dies. So basically this change will make it so that the mule dies before it mines the minerals. It's good. Thumbs up. Mules now always attempt to spawn on the side of the minerals closest to a town hall. Is this StarCraft or is this Warcraft? What? Who wrote this? Dude, listen, I'm going to BlizzCon soon. Someone's getting fired over this. Town hall? Come on, man. Does generally quality of life change also ensured undisturbed mules? Yeah. So this is like a mini buff. Is this gonna be game changing? No, but this is like a nice. Man, oh man. Zerg changes. I'm scared. Listen, I am scared to look. I'm scared to look because I know there's going to be something about infestors, and I think I just saw, yep, there's the infestor, the first one. I'm scared to look. Please hold my hand. If I see that infestor is getting buffed in any way, I will rip my eyebrow up. What I want to see right now is Neural being fucking nerfed. Nerf the range. It's broken. Nobody likes it. Every Terran Protoss knows how broken it is. Please nerf Neural. Oh god, there's so many changes. Fucking hell. Oh Jesus Christ. Infested. Wait a minute, what time is it? Is it Christmas? What's going on? Nerfing infested Terrans. Oh shit, someone said wait, Beastyqt ahead. No, don't tell me. No. Okay. Infested Terran energy cost increased from 25 to 50. Great. They're less spammable. Health increased from 50 to 75. Fair enough. Don't mind it. Infested swarm health egg increased from 70 to 75. Fine. Oh god. Oh Blizzard, what have you done? Blizzard, what have you done? Infested Terran ground rifle from 6 to 12. Infested Terrans, infested rockets from 14 to 24. But wait, there's more. Infested rockets gain +2. +2! Per ranged weapon upgrade, up from +1. Infested rockets attack period decreased. Would like to redesign Infested Terran ability with the following goals in mind. First, to make each Infested Terran feels like more of a commitment. Listen. How can a commitment be an energy-based unit? Energy units are not a commitment. They're free, thus they're not a fucking commitment. Am I crazy for not? Energy units are energy. You know what's a commitment? If an infestor explodes and it spawns 4 infested Terrans, that's a commitment. Spawning free units is not a commitment, and there's no counterplay because it's a free unit. There's no downside to making infestors in any matchups. Free units should be the worst units in the game. The worst fucking units in the game. Like, that's what a free unit... You know what a free unit should be? Void Ray. That is a terrible unit. Void Ray should be free. Like, they doubled their damage. Like, yeah, they cost twice as much. But they doubled the damage on a free... Listen, 24 damage. This is more damage than most units in StarCraft II. It's a free unit. Why does a free unit deal 24 damage? For double the cost? It doesn't matter. It's free unit. Listen, imagine this. Listen, this is what people don't understand. Because they're small, you can only spawn 4 instead of 8. Listen to me. What if, no, listen to me. What if you can spawn a unit from the Infestor? Blizzard, please don't take this as an idea. I'm just using it as an example. What if they could spawn a unit that costs 200 energy and it deals 100 damage and it has 400 health? Do you think that's fair because it's one unit? No, it's a free unit that is free and that it does insane damage. Why are they stacking from weapon upgrades? Why? They're free units. Why did auto turrets never gain damage bonus from armory? If this is the case. They're also mech. Oh my god, why is this unit in the fucking game at all? Like, why don't we just remove it? It's been a terrible unit since the game came out. Wings of Liberty, broken. Heart of the Swarm, broken. Legacy of the Void, insane. Why is it not getting nerfed to the fucking ground? Like, this unit is literally why Zerg's winning every tournament. Because you cannot go late game against Zerg because of free units. How is this not obvious? Like, no one's complaining about Ultras. No one's like, oh man, Vipers. It's the Infestor. Everyone knows it. Zergs know it. You know what Zergs do when you ask them about Infestors? They're like, they're fine. You know what Zergs are like when you ask them off of pro Zergs, when you ask them off of stream about Infestors, they're like, haha, lol, they're so broken, but I'll use them till they nerf them. Everyone knows they're broken. And the attack speed is fucking buffed as well. Basically, you're gonna need more Infestors, but you get buffed Infested Terrans. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. This is bullshit. I'm sorry, but this is bullshit. This is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. We want to provide players with more clear counters. There's no counters. You know what counters to free units are? Free units. Counters to free units are when you kill all of them and you lose nothing. That's a counter. If you lose one Marine to free units, you're not countering them. You're bleeding units to energy. To free fucking units. Man. Our proposal is a more expensive and powerful infested Terran that is still vulnerable to key Terran and Protoss units. It's not. That's the thing. Listen, there's 2 situations with infested Terrans. 1, the Zerg is engaging mid-game and using infested Terrans. Yes, then this is an investment, and yes, then it has counterplay. When we get to the late game and it's split map and Zerg has 40 infestors, it doesn't matter what energy you slap on it, what damage you slap on it, it's a free unit and it will be cost efficient because you're fighting real units that cost minerals and gas with your energy and you can mass them. That is the fucking problem. This is a terrible change. I actually can't believe they actually are suggesting this. Neural parasite range decreased from 9 to 8. See, this is the thing. This is what I wanted, right? For a long time. But they're also nerfing Liberators. So what is the point of this change? Let's ask ourselves. If they nerf all the units that counter Infestors by 1 range, and then you nerf the Neural Parasite range by 1, you haven't done anything. We are back at beginning. Remove the Neural Parasite upgrade. Infestors knockout free with Neural Parasite. Oh god. Please don't tell me there's more. I'm not even going to read this. This is all terrible. This whole thing should be selected and deleted. Every single thing I've read here is terrible. This thing is terrible. Why is it terrible? You nerf Liberator range by 1 and then you decrease the Neural by 1. You didn't do anything. Like, what do you mean? Come on, Blizzard, for fuck's sake, come on. And they nerf Battlecruisers? Neural range is single-handedly the best ability in the game. And now you don't even have to research it. I mean, you can argue, yeah, you know, Storm can kill units. This takes your units. This ability takes your units and beats you with your own units. There is no greater ability than this. All of these changes are terrible, and if any of this shit goes through, I will be extremely fucking sad and disappointed. This Neural should be 7. From 9 to 7. Why? Because you nerfed Liberators by 1. So you need to nerf Neural another range for it to actually be nerfed. Doing this, you haven't done anything. You know what you did? You took a water bottle, you took water, and you poured it into another water bottle. You didn't do anything. It's the same exact thing. Nothing changed. What do you mean? It can provide more Zerg more direct option? What's more direct than winning every tournament? They're extremely direct. Even Rogue said their Zerg's broken. Oh my god. Listen, whoever made this change and whoever made the Raven change, I guarantee those are 2 different people. Blizzard, you need to hire this guy full time and you need to fire this guy straight away. Whoever suggested this, fire him straight away. Even though it's not gonna be maybe in the game, just fire. Has no clue what they're talking about. Just no clue. This is terrible. Lurker. Lurker then build time decreased from 86 to 57. Lurker range decreased from 9 to 8. Okay. New upgrade found on Lurker then... Okay. Increases Lurker range from 8 to 10. So, this is not going to affect ZVT at all, right? That's going to affect ZVZ. It's going to make it more campy. Now, let me just throw out a question there, okay? I got one question. One question. So, we'd like to provide a strong dynamic counter against Immortal Templar base armies that is Brulars. Great. Now I have a question. How is Protoss supposed to kill a 10 range Lurker? Can anyone in the chat, how do you kill something that has 10 range and by the time you get to it, you're gonna lose half of your army? Tempests? You think you're gonna have Tempests when Zerg has Lurkers? You're very optimistic about that. You're very, very optimistic. If you think you're gonna have Tempest when the Zerg has 10 Lurkers, you're gonna win a GSL very soon, or at least a WCS. I can tell you right now that's not gonna happen. I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I don't know how Disruptor is gonna interact with the 10 range Lurkers, but I know in order from the Disruptor now to hit the Lurkers, you need to be almost at the edge. So I'm actually not sure if you can use Disruptors to kill Lurkers and be out of range of Lurkers. What can I say? I mean, this is not even a nerf. This is a fix. Do you guys know about this? This is not a nerf. Broodlord has 10 range. And for those who don't know, Broodlords actually don't have 10 range. If you click a unit, Broodlords actually have 12 range. So this is a bug fix. And this has been in the game since Wings. Everyone knew this. This has been in the game for an extremely long time. We didn't know about the specific target firing that gives you 12 range, but if you aim move and move back, it gives you 11 range. So like, you nerfed Libs and probably nerfed Protoss stuff, but the Zerg stuff is the same. It's actually buffed. Like, these changes are buffs for Zerg. Why is Zerg being buffed? I don't get it. Please don't tell me Nidus got buffed too. Initial delay increased from 018 to 036. So they're reverting. It used to be 036 before, right? Load period increased, okay. Unload period, okay. New upgrade. Reduces the Nidus network and Nidus Worm's initial upload delay. This is what I mean. It's a nerf, but it's actually the same. Does this require Hive? Requires Hive. I mean, okay, it is a nerf in the mid game. Against Protoss specifically, in ZVZ, and a little bit against Terran. You can't just roach Nidus spam everywhere and it's not going to be as effective. But then you can still do it in the late game. I mean, you know, at this point, you know, there's a, you know, summon Nidus Worm ability cooldown increase from 0 to 14. Now listen everyone, this is a rare sighting in the wild. But what you're seeing with your own eyes is Zerg actually getting a nerf. I know we haven't seen this since 4 years ago, but there it is. This is how it looks like for Zerg to be nerfed. I'm like trying to find where the, you know, the part where it's like, oh, actually it's a buff, but actually just straight up nerf. Is this a hallucination? Maybe, it's very close to Protoss changes, so it might be a hallucination. But hey, listen, Zerg got one nerf, and then we buffed Lurkers and Infestors again. Amazing. Protoss changes. I'm scared. Oracle Sentry and Void Ray. Okay. This was the part where you could like let it attack and then attack again, and then it like double attacks or something. I can't even remember how you do it. It's a fix. Whatever. Zella. The charge upgrade no longer provides Zealots with 8 damage and impact. New upgrade found on the Twilight Council. Charge impact. Grants Zealot the ability to deal 8 damage and enemies with charge impact. We believe the power spike gained from researching the charge upgrade could be a bit too high for its cost. You know what's a bit too high for its cost? Infestors. With this change, we'd like to smooth out that power curve. After this change, we believe the Protoss have more difficult time defending early third base against Terrans, as well as pursuing all-in strategies against Zerg. So see, the real race is getting real effed over here is Protoss, because they buffed Lurkers, they buffed Infestors, they nerfed the Zealots. Yeah. If they do this, you have to buff something late game for Protoss against Zerg. You just have to. There's no other way. Adept. Health increased to 80 from 70. Adept shields decreased to 60. New upgrade found in the Twilight Council. Amplified shielding. Increases shield adepts from 60 to 80. What did I just see? What just happened? So 20 shields? That's the upgrade? You get 80 adepts? Now listen to me. I'm gonna throw out a revolutionary opinion. So both Zealots and Adepts have 2 upgrades now. So you actually have to commit to one or the other, right? You can't do both. I have a question. Why would you ever give 2 upgrades to Adepts when Zealots are just better? I mean, let's think about this. Any matchup, PvP, PvZ, PvT, are you ever going to open with this upgrade? No. Why? Because the glaives are better, right? The glaives actually do something. If you're doing a glaives timing, are you going to wait for this upgrade and then have a better timing? No, because glaive timings are revolving around shading and hitting different sides and not fighting the army, but fighting the workers. Are you going to get this in the late game as like, let's just get it? Well, no, because who makes adepts in the late game? Where exactly is this going to be used? What part of the game? If you go for some kind of adept glaives into, I mean, this is the only argument I can make. If you go some kind of adept glaives into third base with immortals, like 3 base all-in push against Zerg, the Zerg is going to know. If you have glaives, they're going to know you're doing this. Because if you get glaives, you might as well get this, right? Because it's a tell that it's an all-in. Well, if you got this, what are you gonna do? Start making Zealots after? That doesn't make sense. So that means you're gonna all-in on the Adepts, because Zealots are just better. I don't see where this fits in. I mean, okay, the one thing that pops in my mind, maybe because of the Zealot having 2 upgrades, maybe it will actually be better to open glaives against Zerg and Terran and then going to charge later. But still, if you do that, because I'm pretty sure glaives are going to be better than simple charge with no damage upgrades. But then you still wouldn't get this because you do want to go Zealots eventually because they scale better with upgrades and they're better in the late game. This is what I was talking about. I hate these kinds of changes where it's like, oh, have 5 health, have 10 health, have minus 10 health, have plus 5 health. I think those changes are the worst for the game. They don't actually change anything. They just make things complicated. Okay, so what have you seen? So Protoss got nerfed. That's interesting. So far. Observer movement speed decreased. Another nerf. Gravity boosters upgrade now increases movement speed of 131 down from 151. We'd like to revert this change we made early in the year as we feel the frustration caused by barely not catching observers did not make up for the benefits of the speed increase. Wait, let me just make sure I got this right. They nerfed the observer speed because someone scanned and didn't kill the observer. Is that what I'm understanding here? But isn't that the case? Like, read it, right? We feel frustration caused by barely not catching observers did not make up for the benefits. So someone literally scanned, the observer ran away, and this is why we have this change. Okay. Well, congrats Protoss, another nerf. Void Ray, oh, this is gonna be good. Flux Veins increases the Void Ray's movement speed from 3.5 to 465. Should I do Void Rays to GM then? Ah, shit. Increases the Void Ray's acceleration from 2.8 to 3. Dude, they're gonna be fast. Jesus. After you upgrade the prismatic alignment ability, will still reduce the Void Ray's movement speed to 2.625. Dude, I should do the series when this gets released. Dude, 465. What's the Phoenix movement speed? Does anyone know? 465 is extremely fast. Voice chasing Mutas. 595 is the Phoenix. 465 seems like a lot. In early Wings, Flux Veins was removed because it led to some undesirable game states, allowing Void Rays to easily maneuver into the opponent's base where you could charge up and potentially camp indefinitely. The Void Ray is also disproportionately powerful at lower skill levels. We all know Void Ray's stories of mass Void Rays in Gold League, right? Now that the Void Ray has been as an active prismatic alignment ability instead of the passive prismatic beams ability, we feel more comfortable reintroducing Flux Veins in order to push. See, this change is like, I don't know how this is gonna turn out, right? I'm excited for this because of the Void Rays to Grandmaster. I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but these are the changes, Blizzard. Can everyone in the chat type PogChamp if these are the changes you want to see in the game instead of plus 10 health, minus 5 health? This sounds fun. This sounds fun, right? Okay, a lot of PogChamps. See, Blizzard, I know Blizzard watches either the stream or the video. Everyone in the chat wants these changes, these kinds of changes, and not the plus 5, minus 5 health. Not every unit needs to be changed dramatically like this, but this is what we need. New abilities, new upgrades, and not an upgrade that gives you plus 20 shields on a unit that's irrelevant past 8 minutes into the game. But give buffs to units that are not used at all, like Void Rays. Okay? This is funny. Like, I liked it. I'm up for this change. Is this going to make Void Rays break the game? No. Is this going to make Void Rays OP? No. Is this going to make Void Rays more useless? No. They can't be more useless. So, is this an improvement for the Void Ray as a unit? Yes. And it's fun. That's the best part about it. Okay, Tempest. Kinetic Overload. Sorry. Anti-air. Range decreased from 15 to 14. There it is. This is another change designed to rein in the ranges of key late game units. In combination with deliberate change, we believe this sort of change will remain the okay. Health increased from 150 to 200. This is what I said before, by the way, as well. If you plan to remove the movement speed from Tempest, like they nerfed it, you have to give it more health. So they're giving more health, so that's good. Shields decreased from 125 to 100. I'm guessing this is from, this is probably because of, oh, they said it's because of the EMP. This is probably because of Proxy Tempest, let's be honest. Mothership. Time Warp now affects air units in addition to ground units and buildings. Time Warp delay reduces from 357 to 175. Now, you know what's great about this change? You know what's great about this change? Let me tell you. I know what you guys are thinking. In your mind, you're like, man, you can time warp the Corruptors. You can time warp the Battlecruisers, right? You know what I'm thinking? Zerg's gonna yoink the fucking Mothership and then it's gonna cast Time Warp on your fucking carriers. Boom. Blizzard is trying to be real sneaky with the Infestor buffs, but I see you. I know what you're doing, okay? Has anyone ever seen a mothership in PvZ that was actually useful for Protoss? No, it always gets taken and then it time warps on the Protoss army. Or it just dies. Now, it's gonna screw over your carriers as well along the way. So there it is. And it's gonna screw them over faster than usual. I mean, this is a sword with, what do you call it? A sword with the two, blade with two edges? You know what I mean. I mean, is it gonna be a buff? Sure, if you manage to cast it before he gets yoinked by the gods of this game, by the creators of StarCraft II, Infestors. I mean, once again, this is our first pass of changes for a BlizzCon update coming late November. As for previous design, these changes are balanced towards being more noticeable. Oh, I noticed them, don't worry, especially the Infestor one. Expect new changes to be added or some being removed. Okay, Blizzard, let's start into it. Let's start. Let me start you right here. We're gonna start right here. All of this, just take it all, remove all of that, and let's try again next week. Perhaps keep the void rate thing. I think the void rate thing is cool. This guy that doesn't know how to scan and kill observers, fire that guy as well. Because clearly, listen, if you nerf this, he's still gonna be Gold League. Like, he's not gonna notice the difference. And he probably doesn't even know how observers exactly work. So just scratch this completely. Void rate is cool. Everything else for Zerg and Protoss, just straight up remove it. Just, you know, rip the paper, just throw it in the trash can, get a new piece of paper, and like, let's try again. This is definitely not gonna, I mean, just no. And also, whoever wrote Town Hall, get that guy fired too. Again, the guy that wrote this, by the way, is the same guy that did this, 100%. Same guy that did these changes for Infestors is the guy that wrote Town Hall. So just fire him. You have 2 reasons not to fire him. Honestly, I was super excited about these changes. The Terran changes, when I started watching through them, I was like, they get it. This change, very nice. Infernal Pre-Grider. I mean, sure, again, it's not a big deal, right? It's a buff, not a big deal. Viking. Yeah, you know, there's a bad change, you know, even if you make some of the good ones, you know. You win some, you lose some, right? Medevac, yeah, right? You tried. Liberator. Okay, you know, sure. Buff, nerf, sure. Raven, beautiful. And oh, this is where it started actually. This right here. And then everything downwards, delete it. Listen to me, everyone in the chat. Do not agree with this shit. If you're Zerg, Protoss, or Terran, we need to not let this happen. This is a terrible change, and this only makes the Infestor equal or buffed. It does not nerf Terran in any way. If this was the change, and maybe these two, sure. Increasing the damage on a free unit, ridiculous. This, we need to push this to be 7 range because they nerfed the other units that were dealing with Infestors. It's ridiculous. And what is with this? Who decided to do this? Ensure that the Infestors must put itself in greater danger. There is no greater danger. You just take the danger and the danger fights for you. Like, there's no danger for Infestors. That's why Zergs are winning tournaments. If there was danger, we wouldn't see Zergs winning every single tournament. There's no danger. What are we talking about here? Have you guys seen a game where Zerg loses late game recently? Just take the danger. That's it. Zerg, like, the Infestors are the danger. They're literally the most dangerous thing in StarCraft II. I mean, when I play the games these days and I see Infestors, I'm like, oh, I lost. That's it. The moment it gets to that point. You know what it is? You know those games, like, what do you call them? Nightmare difficulty in Diablo? So you have, like, difficulty in Diablo where it's, like, easy, like, the mobs are crap, they're not doing anything, you know? That's how the game feels like. And then Infestors come along, and then it's, like, the nightmare difficulty. One mistake and you're dead. That's it. I mean, like I said, I Initially, really love the changes. I like the direction, not necessarily the specific numbers. I love this direction, was beautiful. Even this, sure, I think most Terrans will compensate, will agree to this, for this kind of compensating. Like, we'll put it in the fusion core, but one less range, sure. Thor, sure, love it. We need to have this, all this crap, be nerfs for Zerg. All of this should be nerfs. Straight up nerfs. We've reached a point in the game when the Zerg pro players winning GSL are literally saying Zerg is broken. Guys, it took us 9 years and you finally got to a point where a Zerg player has admitted that the race is broken. Like, if this is not the time to do something, then I don't know when it is. I've never heard a Zerg player be okay with the game. They're admitting that it's broken. Blizzard, they are telling you. Terrans are telling you. Protosses are telling you. Do something. Cyril has said, if the game reaches late game, if the Zerg plays well, he cannot lose. Cyril has said it. Rogue has said it. I mean, come on. Come on. There is time, and the changes will be going through in November. I hope that this is not the end of the changes, because this is terrible. I'm speechless. So I hope that Blizzard has different changes next time. I gave my opinion on what I like, what I don't like. You guys always knew I am extremely against free units. There is a way to do free units. Infested Terrans are not the way. They're just not. So I hope that people on the forums, wherever Blizzard is reading, are dissatisfied with this. And I hope people are extremely vocal about this, because if this goes through, like, I'm trying to make this as dramatic and trying to emphasize how important this is. And I'm not doing it for trolling, for content, for whatever. If this goes through, we're gonna be playing whole next year with this shit. The post BlizzCon patches are there to stay for a long time. We cannot let this go through. This is bad. Straight up bad. There's no other way around it. Yeah, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I would love to know your opinion on this. I don't know, maybe I'm extremely biased, and that's why I always like to hear opinion from other people, other players, and also you boys on Twitch. We're gonna keep streaming in my town hall, so I would love to hear your guys' opinion as well. We're gonna discuss it right now a little bit, but for you guys on YouTube, thank you for watching. Gamers rise up.